Hey everybody, thanks. It's Mike with smartoptiontrade.com. I hope you guys are all doing well. And we have a lot going on here, guys. And I'm here today to go over charts with you guys, and you guys pick them, and I'm happy to go over them and see what here. But one thing we all need to consider right now here is that the market is going through a period of great uncertainty. And if you're not paying attention to the headlines today, I will tell you, my belief is that we are going to go into Iran at the end of this week. And it's all the talk and the bluster. And this, if you've been around long enough and you've been through enough of the situations where the United States or any other Western country gets involved in the war, the rhetoric heats up and it starts talking like we keep sending more assets into the area. But the good news I'm going to tell you is this. The good news here is that typically once the bombs drop, the market goes up. It's the fear of the unknown that typically is the biggest concern that we have. So if you're looking what's going on today, I have a chart up at the S&P 500, and we'll start here, and then guys start posting your symbols so I can take a look at them and see them for you and go over them. Um, you know, we're here in this channel. We've had this big move off the lows. We came off the lows. I bought heavily on that first big day up, and I'm still holding almost all of it on the way up here. And we've come up and we've hit this 605 area, which is the last big little resistance area till we break out. And this 594 area is 3% pullback off the all-time highs that we're still holding. And right now, as long as we hold that, the 21 day just below there, I think everything is just fine. That doesn't mean we can't get a hit here because the moose comes out, we can get a big little hit, we could drop pretty quickly. But I think any dip on this is buyable as long as nothing horrific has happened, i.e., this expands into other countries. There's chemical or biological weapons thrown, dirty nuclear. You guys get the idea. I don't want to talk doom and gloom here. I'm saying those would be things to watch out for. But as long as once the bombs drop, it's contained, I think everything is fine. So, we'll continue to watch. We have the Fed tomorrow. I think the Fed decision tomorrow is going to be one of the most benign Fed meetings we've had, to go on with the last one. Nobody expects a rate hike. We get the dot plot. It's probably going to show the first rate cut probably coming in the September timeframe. And the market already pretty much knows that. So again, see how we react and we go from there. But overall, this market's had a big move up. We're back in a bull market. It's a lot of uncertainty here. The market hates uncertainty, and we go around that. And the other thing I would point out is the VIX is saying, the VIX is saying, oops, it's time to be careful, right? The VIX here is back over 20. Anytime the VIX is over 20, I'm always a little bit more careful. It's pushing the top of the Bollinger Bands here. We'll see if we're going to break out. All right, so let's go over some symbols. You want to start off with Raytheon, huh? RTX? Happy to do that, Barnett. So hello, what did I do? There we go. So Raytheon, defense stock, has been outrunning this and been front running this for a while. It's been one of the strongest ones. I believe it's at an all-time high. These names typically run into an event and then they sell off afterwards because, they've been run up and into it. And this one has run quite a bit. Now, this is also doing better than most of them. It's been a very strong stock. I don't think I'd be starting a new position up here. If you were long it, I would be holding on to it. I would look, if you're not in it, I would watch for maybe a dip to the 8 day, but RSI's gone hot. We're out of the Bollinger Bands here at this point, so to me, it's time to be a little bit more careful with this one, see how it kind of comes down, see what it does, and how we go from there. Um, some of the other group names in this sector, they haven't run as much. By the way, I think Raytheon, if I remember correctly, they make the Patriot/Iron Dome missiles. So they're going to get a huge contract for resupply on that. Northrop Grumman, you can see it's not reacting the same. Same thing with Lockheed Martin, right? Up, but not acting. General Dynamics, another one, right? None of these are really pushing. So RTX, I wouldn't be chasing it up here, but they're going to have some good contracts. It's probably already built in. It's probably already being figured in. So I'd be careful chasing up here. If I was long, might take some profits depending where I came from, or maybe sell some calls against it if you feel comfortable doing that, and go from there. What else, guys? Can you see some symbols getting posted here? Anybody out there? If not, I'll start going around and looking at things. Amazon, love Amazon. I am long Amazon for a while now, Pranor. I like the stock. I like the story. Um, Amazon here in this market is holding in great. Really nice big move up here. 217.50 is the level to break out of. All right, so it's up into that area right now. The next area for me up here would be to test this 220 area, and then we'll see if we can work our way back up to the highs. Just for clarity, I've been in and out of this thing. I've been in it now for probably last 4 months, sold a whole bunch up into the all-time highs, was buying it back here on the dips. And I still held some through that. And again, still sitting here nice and green, looks great. I like it over 220. The 220 area specifically is the next big level. And then once you're above that, pretty much nothing left to stop us from heading for all-time highs. If we dip the 200-day holds, I think that'd be great. Last time we dipped, it held the 21 day. The 21 day is here as well. But if we get a big dip in the market, I would watch for a hold of the 200-day. I like how the 50-day is starting to curl back up and move with it. What I've been noticing lately in this market is they're back in big tech names and they're rotating the different names on different days. Hey, Fred, how are you? HCSG. Um, for me, this is not a name I'm actively involved in. I know their healthcare services. I don't know a lot about them. They had this report here, the news, whatever it was, pushed up nicely, and you have a nice flag and a base here. And let's do this. Let's go to a monthly. Let's get some more data here. Why did it do that? All right. Sorry about that. Got to reset this here. Okay. So nice move up here off the lows. This thing was a $47 stock back just before the pandemic. I don't know enough about this to help you with it in terms of that, but it's up and coming into a over a 52-week high. This 16 area be your next big area to watch. And then also then up here at 17 and then at 18. This is a slow mover, moves in dollar increments. So I'd watch that and see how it trades. Uh, you have to know what's going on with this. So I would assume you do, but for me, technically, you have a nice bull flag here. As long as it holds this 1380 area, I think you're fine. And if it breaks out over 1480 with power, I think I'd like it there. Hope that helps. IONQ, everybody's little darling. What is going on? All right, IONQ had this nice push up. You have a cup and a handle pattern here. Real easy to see now. Here's your handle. Right? You have a little downtrend. So for me, if I wanted to get into IONQ, I would wait till it broke that downtrend. And as long as it holds this 36 area, I think you feel pretty good about it. But you have a nice little cup and handle. The 200 days also been support. Beautiful moves, really good looking chart. Feels fine. And then your 52-week high up there at 54 would be possibly in play. Good looking chart. Like that one quite a bit. Gilead. It's been one of the stronger biotechs for the last year. Again, when you're talking a bio name, you need to know their pipeline. Their pipeline is the most important thing. And I don't generally trade the biotechs anymore, but you did have a nice downtrend break here. It's been trying to break out. It needs to clear this 112.60 area, 112.50 area, 114 if you want to be certain. There's your all-time high up here. It actually hit 120 at one point in the pre-market hours, if I remember correctly. It's a good looking chart. MACD is crossing down here. Might want to dip. If it comes down and holds the 50-day, we'll see. You have a lot of negativity around the whole pharma and bio sector. With RFK, nobody quite has a feel for things yet. Now there's talk that they may have Trump administration wants to kill advertising on that as well. That came out today, and that's why you have this down move. That would be very tough on all of these companies. So, not a great thing there. Overall, good chart. If it dropped and held the 50-day, I think I would be willing to take it there or wait for a break of that breakout. MSI. So, um, I believe that this is just a tracking stock here that they trade overseas and we just track them here on MSI. I generally don't like those type of names, just to be clear, because they trade a lot of times in the pre-market or overnight. Maybe it's not. Yeah, Mill is. Okay. Nope, it's not. I'm thinking different company. All right, my bad. Uh, I don't know. Again, this is an investment, not a trader. It trades about 500,000 shares a day on average. You have a little H cell pattern here, right? So if you look carefully here, you look at what's going on with the chart, you have a downtrend depending on how you want to draw it, but let's just connect the dots because other than that one day above it, you have this very solid downtrend in here, and you have what is an H cell pattern, right? So you come down, right? And there's your little curve to it, and it's going to come and wants to test this 400 area. And if it was to break below 400, technically it could try to break lower. 390 would be your last little support before you come down here to the 52-week low, which is down there around 380. And then you see, so, for me, this is not a chart I'd want to be long in. If you're into shorting, maybe you want to short it here. And until it takes out that downtrend, I wouldn't want anything to do with this name. PayPal. PayPal is one of those tough names that, just can't quite get their act back together again for whatever reason. They've kind of lost their way. During the pandemic, they got really big. They had that huge move up. And since then, and, the whole talk of them building their own trading platform is completely gone. They killed that. And they're just trying to get back to what they do well. For me, here, it's just kind of stuck. There's just not a lot to love or not love about this chart. You do have a little bit of inverted head and shoulders pattern here, and you can take it up on an angle if you want to watch it like that. Or break above the 200-day would be the place to really watch. And you have this just, we're just kind of trending here. There's just not a lot going on. This is just kind of going sideways here. Your 50 days curling up. Their last report was okay. It came off the lows. I thought it was still lacking growth, but it was okay there. But for me right now, this sector is tough. This name has been very tough. To me, the move was the end of last year down here. Maybe you buy it back. I think ultimately they're going to be just fine, but the whole sector is kind of just in a bad way, right? So if you were to take Square, I still call them Square, but Block, right? Square also very similar chart, well off the 52-week highs. Affirm, despite having some good earnings here, also just not really doing much. Same thing with MQ, which actually that one's a little bit better. Nice move there. The safer plays tend to be right now, Visa and MasterCard and American Express are all beaten up a little bit yesterday, but they seem to be doing better than the other payment space, the smaller names, the disruptors. Palo Alto, great stock, great company, working its way back up to the 52-week high here at 208. Their report wasn't great, but when you see them buy back all the weakness on it, it tells you that they still want it. And let's face it, cybersecurity is going nowhere. You want to talk about something that people will not stop spending money on. It's going to be cybersecurity. Companies are going to have to constantly be spending on this moving forward, and Palo Alto is one of the leaders in that. If it can push, your next level is 208, and that is your all-time high. Just wanted to make sure. So above that, you have blue skies. It's a good section to be in. I would also continue to keep my eyes on crowd space. Crowd, despite all the questions about some of their financials, the weakness on that report, they bought it back and it's right back today, just kissing the all-time high. I don't think you can go wrong with either one of those names in this space. Lilly, Spot, Tesla, Costco. All right. Lilly, I think Lilly had its big move. Everybody is, I want Lilly, Lilly, Lilly. Lilly had this huge move, and I think everybody just kind of forgets that, and they just keep going into names. Look at the size of this move, right? This is back here. It was one of my stock. It was my outperform name for like 3 years in a row, and it had this huge move all the way up to 960 area. And now it's just digesting, and I think that's what you got to realize. It's in a digestion mode. They have a great couple drugs out there. They have more in the pipeline, but their weight loss drug has been fabulous. Came up, kissed the 200-day, and came back off of it. It needs to take out the 200-day. So until it can clear the 200-day, it remains in this digestive phase. But if it can get above it, there might be a nice trade. And you have this nice little gap sitting up here. So if it really wants to get going, and it took out the 200-day, oops, there we go. You can see you have this big gap here that starts up around the 850 area that goes up almost to 900, a little shy of that actually here, probably about 895. And I would be watching for a fill of that eventually. Overall, good chart. See if it holds a 21 day. It's down today again because of the potential advertising ban coming for all these pharma companies. Spot, Spot is a British company. They trade over there as well. This thing's at all-time highs. It's been a monster. I can't say anything bad about this name. It's been riding the 21 day. If you get a dip right now, it put a new all-time high in today. The 8 day's been support. Dips to the 21 day during this run have been very viable. I mean, look at this just move up, this channel, strong. It's just one of those names that goes, it doesn't tend to do a tremendous amount of volume a day and it tends to fly under the radar. I know there's a lot of people that also would love to see this stock split, and that's probably why it doesn't do a lot of volume anymore. But overall, one of the names they like. If you like it, you own it, just keep moving your stops up. You can sell calls against it, but overall, the market holds up. I think that one's going higher. Tesla, oh God. So we can do a lot talking around Tesla. So let's start off with a couple simple things here. First off, we had a downtrend here and we took it out. Okay. So this downtrend got broken, not quite, just about a month ago. And we had that nice move up. All right. Then we had in here the Trump Musk great tiff. And that got bought back as they made up here. And now we're sitting here struggling to get going. So my thought process on Tesla's is that they're no longer being treated as an EV company. If you watch the news, every time the news comes out that deliveries are going to be bad, that there are problems, whatever it is out there, Tesla doesn't budge on it. Sales are down. Tesla doesn't budge on it. They had a horrific report. Nobody cared. People are looking forward to them and looking at them as the robo-taxi, the full self-driving, the robots and AI. And they're not caring about the EV. They're viewing EVs now as just a means to raise cash to continue to fund the company until these other projects can take off and start bringing in bigger dollars. So if you listen to everybody, they're going to constantly be telling you that. For me, very simple here right now. Tesla down today in this area right here. You have another little downtrend you could draw here. You could watch for a break of that if you're aggressive, right? So break back above that downtrend. Or if you want to be stronger about it and careful, you could watch for a break of the 330 area. 330 has a lot of activity on it right in here. That would be a level to break as well. You want it to hold the 200-day, and if not, there's your 50-day down there. These are levels that could catch it. The 200-day specifically, Tesla respects it. Came down, bounced off of it, rejected at it, rejected at it, rejected, gapped above, right? Came back to it. So, for me, I'm always looking at what has merit, and the 200-day is big. So if it doesn't hold the 200-day, we're probably going to look at some more weakness and see where we go. Right now, I think I have two calls I've had on it for a while now that are deadly underwater. Got caught up in this mess that are going to expire worthless, and then I'll go from there. But otherwise, I have no position at Tesla currently. What else, guys? We have about 10 minutes, not even about 10 minutes. What else can we look at? Let's look at some names if you guys aren't bringing it up. Nobody brought up the semis. So let's start off with the SMHs in general because this is such a huge component of the market. And you have this big move up here to 265. I'm looking for a move to 270. That's my next target for it. Even though today the market's weak, I've tried to break out. It's holding in very well. And it's doing this without NVIDIA. NVIDIA here is stuck. 145 needs to clear. 145 is your big spot. Yesterday we tried and we failed. Again, couldn't hold it. When we take out 145, I like this for a move up to 150 and then to the all-time highs again. I would keep my eyes on that. Taiwan Semi has been a leader here. Another big move up here today, a little down day. It's been running. Here's your all-time high. This gap is basically almost filled. You have a little bit of room left up here to the 219, 220 area. Overall, dip to the 8 day and hold is great. It's just hot. It's run a lot. I would be careful chasing a name like that one here. TTD, love their report. Um, this name just doesn't want to go. Just to be honest with you, I've been keeping an eye on it since their report. It's into its earnings gap, not what you ever want to see. It's been generally drifting down the 100-day, which is this gray line. This has been the problem. So, the 200 days moving down, it's moving down with it. So I would watch for a break above the 100-day, which you see is right in here, and it's just holding it down. Otherwise, love TTD. I think it was a great report, but right now they don't want to go. And then you're playing for, again, this huge gap sitting up here at 85. So if it breaks above this 100-day, I would look for a move to test that gap, probably a pause when it got there, and then we'll see. If the market's weak, you might get a gap fill, and that might make a nice little place to entrance because that was a great report. ATGE, don't know it. Honestly, don't know anything about them on this one either. Chart says it's holding the 50-day, probably earnings here, gap up, pushed, couldn't hold, has filled the gap. If you're in it, I would stay long versus the 50-day. And if it cannot hold the 50-day, I would probably get out of the way unless I knew more about it. For me, it needs to get back above the 21-day here and the 8-day, which is sitting underneath here right now. And then 120, 127.50 break would be a spot to watch there. Or again, not a bad chart sitting in here. 50-day area has been some support. Um, if you want to get into it, I would watch for a break at 298. If you're in it, you would want it to continue to hold. You have an uptrend here. So you have a nice little uptrend there. So if you're in it, I would want it to hold that uptrend as it continues to move forward. You can see I'm drawing it off the January 2025 low and just taking it there and connecting the dots as we move forward. So you got a nice little uptrend in there to keep an eye on. Depending on how you draw it, you can go a little tighter with it, and you can have four connects here. That's probably a little bit better, and you can see that's the plot I would want it to hold. Airbnb. So, this has probably been one of the more frustrating stocks since it became public. Despite we had this huge run in the airlines and the hotels, this name just hasn't been able to get going ever. And you would think that they would, but it just, for whatever reason, it just doesn't seem to go. Right now, travel's slowing down again. So, to me, this is not an area to be in. I'd be careful with something in the travel space right now. Airlines are showing slowdowns, and if airlines are showing slowdowns, hotels start showing slowdowns. Yeah, honestly, I gave up on this name a long time ago. I don't generally trade it or track it anymore because I felt like it always should be higher. And you can compare it to the others in the space. Look at Marriott, had that big move, came down, also starting to drift down. And if you look at the airlines, Delta coming off the highs, right? All these, all these travel stocks are coming in. So, if you really like it, you want to own it. I might wait till we get clarity on what's going on in the Middle East and maybe a dip to the 50-day be viable if it held there, but overall, not one of my favorite names here at this point. SoFi. So, this is one of those stocks that just kind of just never wants to really go. It had that nice move late last year and then it's gone back here into quiet. It just doesn't seem to matter what goes on with them. It's just they just can't seem to get going here very good. They're profitable. They're doing well, but there's a lot more competition in their space now, and they just don't seem to be have it. To me here, you look at this chart, 15 area is great. If it wants to push, you have a gap sitting here at 17 that goes up to 1790, and then your 1850 is your 52-week high on this if it wants to push. To the downside, it likes the 200-day. That would be your first area to watch down around 1275. It's curling up. And then, you know, if it wants to, it can come back down to this 850 area. Overall, honestly, I prefer names like JP Morgan right now. If you really want to be in the banking sector, it's just a stronger name. They're best in breed. They're near all-time highs. And to me, look at that nice hold, the 21-day here, just a pretty chart. APP, uh, you know, this name has, get out of this mode. Hang on a sec. This name has become, there we go, easier to see. This game has become, a poster boy from a lot of shorts trying to get into it and short it. It had that great report, and that was the highs up here, and it sold off, and it just needed to break. If you look where it came from 84 to 520 area, it needed a break. They're doing well as much as these funds try them out and try to short them. Their earnings are fine, their numbers look good, and for me. 360 area, if cannot hold, maybe it comes down to just 342, and then we see you have a gaps here to watch on this one. So you have, for me, there's two gaps here. One, you have this gap from the last earnings, which is still hasn't filled. That's a good sign. Then you have this gap up here, which also remains unfilled. Uh, we'll see which way it wants to go. Right now, it's in a downtrend. I would watch to see if it wants to come down. Watch that 340 area. How much time we got left? I got about 2 minutes. So Bitcoin, I don't, I prefer IBIT, but GBTC, oops, is fine. Um, you know, Anything that trades with Bitcoin, you just follow Bitcoin on that for me. Chart looks okay. Trading back here into the 80 area, Bitcoin's not far from the all-time highs. A lot of people, it's one of the heaviliest watched trades out there, along with Nvidia. 87 area break would be interesting. Overall, it's fine. 80 area is the level to watch. I don't know if they still are what they used to be. So IBIT, you're getting all Bitcoin. On this one, it was leveraged Bitcoin in there with futures and stuff. That's why I don't like to own it. Make sense? So just be a little bit more careful. They're kind of leveraged. They track Bitcoin, but they don't really. So there's leverage in there, which means there's decay and stuff goes on. All right, SLG. SLG. Overall, nice little move off the lows. If it holds the 200-day, I like it. I like it for a break of 66 even more. And then from 66, watch 67, then see if you can start to break back up into the 71 area where it broke down from back here at the end of last year. If it cannot hold, the 21 days a long way down, and that might be the ultimate place it finds it there at 61.55. Guys, thanks for having me on. If you want to join me, smartoptiontrading.com is my website. Please come on over. Dave is going to offer you guys a special $50 for the first 30 days if you want to join our live trading room. And I need to get back there pretty quick because things are a little bit wicked here in the market. This is why I'm kind of looking here and saying I need to get back to my room. But I appreciate you guys having me on, David, and I hope you guys all have a great day. I would say be careful here in this market. We're a headline-driven market until we get this event out of the way.